Good evening, everyone. I, Rajesh Kumar Dev, Dr. Rajesh Kumar Dev, advocate, shall discuss different elements of law, types of law, definition of law for your convenience. As many of you are not familiar with the correct definition of law, before understanding different concepts, different provisions of law, it is necessary to understand the definition and its types or its kinds. Law is very important for the regulation of the society by the state. But what is the definition of law? It is necessary. It is essential for understanding the different provisions of law, whether it is Civil Procedure Code, whether it is Specific Relief Act, whether it is Limitation Act, whether it is Indian Penal Code or BNS. It is necessary to understand the definition of law for understanding properly and clearly various provisions of law. Let us now understand what is the definition of law. Law denotes rules and principles. Rules and principles which regulate the human conduct or human behavior. It is the duty of the state to regulate the human behavior or human conduct by the state, and the law helps in regulating that conduct. It is an instrument, law is an instrument to regulate the society, to regulate the behavior of human beings. In other words, it can be said that law is the rule of human conduct. The law is rule of human conduct. The law may be divided into two parts, like codified law and uncodified law. What is codified law and what is uncodified law? It is necessary to understand. Codified laws are those laws which have been codified, which have been incorporated in the form of an instrument, a document by the state or the government. Just like IPC, Indian Contract Act, Transfer of Property Act, etc., etc. These are the codified laws. And what are called uncodified laws? Uncodified laws are those laws which have not been incorporated. The laws which have not been incorporated in the form of document by the government. And those laws are being utilized by the courts for deciding many cases, many matters. The example of uncodified law is administrative law, law of torts. Law of torts and administrative law are the examples of uncodified law. Indian Penal Code 1860 is the codified law and substantive law. The Indian Penal Code defines and prescribes punishments. Indian Penal Code 1860 defines various types of offences and it prescribes the punishments for those offences. That's why it is a substantive law. And Criminal Procedure Code 1973 contains provisions which prescribes mechanism for the enforcement of the substantive laws or the offences which have been given in Indian Penal Code or BNS. These laws may be divided or may be categorized into two parts: international law and state law. Everybody knows what is the international law. If he does not know, he should understand what is the international law. International law are those provisions which regulates the relation between two countries, between two states. TRIPS agreement, WTO provisions are the examples of international law. And what are the examples of state law? State law, constitutional law, administrative law, and the criminal laws are the state laws. And what is the meaning of state law? It is necessary to understand. State laws are those laws which are utilized by the government or the state to regulate the society. And in the matters of state laws, any man, any ordinary person can initiate proceeding against the other person. Indian Penal Code is the example of state law, and the proceedings can be started or initiated by any man or woman or by any person against the person who is committing the offense. These public laws are for the welfare of the society. And what is the private law? Private laws are those laws which prescribes or describes the rights and duties of ordinary men or the private persons. The examples of private laws are Specific Relief Act, Indian Contract Act, Transfer of Property Act, and Hindu Marriage Act. In today's video, it is adequate. In the next video, we shall meet with some other topic. Thank you so much. Namaskar. Jai Hind.